Andy and Me in the Hospital is a business novel set in a major New York City hospital in crisis. It's the third in a series of books that began in 2005 with Andy and Me. And the series and the latest adventure follows Tom Pappas, an automotive executive who's got problems, and his sensei, Andy Saito, a reclusive ex-Toyota heavyweight. I wanted to answer some basic questions in this book. What does lean transformation in a hospital feel like? What kind of leadership and behavior change do we need? What overall approach should we take? How do we improve our processes? How do we engage our people? How do we build a management system so that we can sustain our gains? So that's what this book is all about. It's the nature of a transformation, and I want it to be as real as possible and to reflect the work that my team of coaches and I have done the past 10 years in hospitals around the world. Every industry entails a series of processes. Healthcare value streams, for example, begin with registration of some kind and end with discharge. In between, there are various value streams. Flow across the value streams depends on standards, connections, and pathways. Tom and Andy are really good at seeing these. Their challenge and our challenge as practitioners around the world is to translate the fundamentals of lean for healthcare leaders and team members. So translation is a central theme in Andy and Me in the Hospital. What does flow mean in an emergency department? What does quality in the process mean for, say, an operating room, pharmacy? What does strategy deployment mean for an entire hospital system? Healthcare represents the undiscovered country of lean, also known as Toyota Production System. I spend much of my practice time coaching senior healthcare executives, in fact. And in the book, Tom calls healthcare a dark realm. It's full of risk, but also full of opportunity. If we do not get healthcare right, it could bankrupt us. But if lean thinking and methods take root in healthcare, greatly improve people's lives. So the stakes are very high. And that's why I wanted to continue this Tom and Andy journey in healthcare. The book is fiction, as you say, but the situations reflect what my team and I have experienced the past decade working with hospitals around the world. Healthcare team members are among the most dedicated and well-trained of any we've encountered in all the industries we've worked. They're smart, dedicated, they care, and often they're heroic. But the processes they work in are not so hot often. Hopefully the stories will reflect what we've experienced. Really good people in some really bad processes. Here is the great paradox. We have miracles within deep healthcare silos, and too often catastrophe across them. For example, diseases that used to be a death sentence are no longer so. Wonderful, miraculous, marvelous work has been done within these silos. But across the silos, we have infections, mismedications, medical errors, wrong site surgeries, and the like. So that's the great paradox. Miracles in the silos, and too often disaster across them. Andy and Me in the Hospital is written for healthcare leaders at all levels, from the so-called C-suite to the frontline team member. I've based the content on one-on-one coaching that I do with senior leaders. And the core questions we seek to answer, both in coaching and in the book, are what is my role as a leader? What's the nature of the transformation journey? What kind of leadership is needed? What are the fundamentals of lean? And how do we translate them for our organization? How are we going to engage our physicians? What are some of the obstacles that we might run into, and how do we avoid them, or how do we deal with them? I'm hopeful that the book will be a day-to-day resource for people. I'm gratified when folks come up to me in a lab or a pharmacy or an ED. They show me the book, and it's full of yellow highlighter and scribbles in the margins. The approach in Andy and me in the hospital and in my individual coaching is Socratic, a short lesson, then a Gemba walk, as we call it, wherein we try to apply what we've just learned, and then reflection. What did we see? What does it mean? And what are the next steps? I hope you like